Breaking today, Meghan Markle is under growing pressure to speak out after her best friend and the godfather to Princess Lilibet was accused of sexual assault.
I don't know. I see it just kind of collapsing at some point, and him coming back to England and it being a really messy divorce, and she's going to end up with some, big American billionaire and just dump him.
Now, this is Tyler Perry. He is, of course, the famous American entertainment industry figure. And the revelations coming from TMZ, which reports he's been sued for sexual assault by an Oval actor who says he suffered for years.
He gave them everything, a mansion, protection, even his name as godfather. But now, Tyler Perry isn't just stepping back from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. He might be walking away for good. And what triggered it? A lawsuit, dark allegations, and a betrayal that's turning Hollywood's fairy tale into a slow-burning scandal. Meghan's silence? Deafening. And the people she once called family? They're disappearing one by one.
The problem that Meghan Markle has here is that she is so holier than thou. With anyone else, the slightest hint of an accusation means she throws people under the bus. By the way, including her own father, including her own sister, including her own brother. These accusations against Tyler Perry are incredibly serious. Now, because of my personal experience with false accusations, I of course believe that he is innocent until proven guilty.
It started with a quiet headline, easy to miss, unless you knew what to look for. An actor from the Oval, one of Tyler Perry's most successful shows, filed a lawsuit. The claim? Years of alleged abuse behind closed doors. The accused? A man with deep ties to Perry's inner circle. Text messages were leaked. Disturbing details surfaced. The kind that make even Hollywood pause.
Now, why Meghan is coming under pressure here is because she has a track record of throwing very significant friends under the bus.
Suddenly, the man who once stood as a symbol of family values, faith, and generosity was caught in a storm. And right next to him, even if she never asked for it, stood Meghan Markle, her longtime ally, her daughter's godfather, the man who opened his $18 million Beverly Hills estate when the world turned its back. Now, he was at the center of a scandal, and Meghan said nothing. The silence was deafening. For someone who's been quick to distance herself from controversy, even turning her back on her best friend, Jessica Mulroney, during a social media uproar, Meghan's choice to stay quiet sent a message, one her critics were quick to dissect.
The evidence that is being reported by TMZ, or at least the allegations, are far, far more shocking than anything Jessica Mulroney was ever accused of. Indeed, the publication has produced a whole load of text messages between Tyler Perry and this man, which I'll go into in one moment.
Some say she's just waiting. Others say she's calculating. But Hollywood insiders saw it differently. They saw a crack in the alliance. A split that had been forming long before any lawsuit ever made headlines. But that wasn't the whole story. Back in 2020, when Meghan and Harry fled the UK under a storm of media backlash and royal drama, it was Tyler Perry who stepped in like a fairy tale savior. Not only did he offer them his lavish $18 million estate in Beverly Hills, complete with private security and full discretion, he sent his own private jet to bring them there. To the public, it looked like a friendship rooted in loyalty and trust. But behind the scenes, it may have been something else entirely.
Always, for Meghan Markle, it's if you have a private jet, she is your best friend. And Tyler Perry does, so they will remain best friends until it's too difficult to do otherwise.
Oh, how cynical you are, Brittany, but completely right, and I totally agree.
Sources close to Perry now suggest the generosity wasn't as unconditional as it seemed. According to leaked reports, Perry had expectations, not just of gratitude, but of professionalism. He thought he was helping a couple in need. What he got, according to insiders, was a media circus, PR exploitation, and a brand that spiraled out of control. While Meghan painted him as her fairy godfather, Perry reportedly felt more like a prop used to boost the Sussex image while being excluded from the real decision-making. And as the Netflix cameras rolled, Perry's involvement was spun into a narrative he didn't fully agree to. The line between friend and asset had blurred. The warm public alliance? It was starting to freeze.
Tyler Perry is not a good guy here because, do you remember, he was the one who popped up in Meghan Markle's Netflix documentary with Prince Harry and absolutely tore to pieces the British royal family, indeed saying that he would not have agreed to become the godfather of Princess Lilibet if it meant attending the christening in Britain. Remember, that would have been a christening that would have featured the Queen, the late Queen. Watch this.
Insiders claim Perry began distancing himself long before the lawsuit broke, keeping communication minimal, stepping away from public mentions, and quietly pushing back behind closed doors. Not out of spite, but out of frustration. He had gone all in for the Sussexes, and he was starting to realize it might have been a mistake. But as the cracks in their relationship widened, another familiar face reappeared from the shadows. And she wasn't smiling.
It will be interesting to see how much of a good friend she actually turns out to be, and if she is going to be there and support her friend, or even be passive in the relationship and still say things like he's innocent until proven guilty, or will she just throw him under the bus?
Before the Netflix deals, before the Archetypes podcast, and long before the royal fallout, there was Jessica Mulroney, stylist to the stars, Meghan's closest confidant, the woman whose daughter walked down the aisle at Meghan's wedding. For years, they were inseparable, the kind of friendship that seemed unshakable. Until suddenly it wasn't. During the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, Jessica found herself embroiled in controversy over social media comments that were deemed tone-deaf. Meghan? She cut ties almost instantly. No public defense. No clarification. Just silence, followed by distance. Jessica was wiped from Meghan's world almost overnight. To outsiders, it looked like a necessary PR move. To those closer to the situation, it felt like betrayal. Now, as Tyler Perry faces his own public reckoning, Jessica has returned, not with interviews, not with exposés, but with quotes. Cryptic, icy, and aimed like daggers. Tyler Perry isn't the first to feel the cold snap of Meghan's silence, and he probably won't be the last. Before Perry, there was Jessica Mulroney. Before Jessica, there was Samantha Markle, her half-sister. Then Thomas Markle, her father. Then even her brother, extended family, and old colleagues. Each one started close and ended somewhere far, erased without explanation. The pattern is impossible to ignore. One moment, their inner circle, the next, gone. Sometimes without even a public word. And while every fallout had its own trigger, the aftermath always felt the same. Meghan moves on, they're left behind, and the public is left guessing what really happened.
By the way, including her own father, including her own sister, including her own brother, these accusations against Tyler Perry are incredibly serious. Now, you know, because of my personal experience with false accusations, I of course believe that he is innocent until proven guilty.
Even Prince Harry hasn't been immune to the ripple effects. Once praised as the bold royal rebel standing beside his wife, he now often appears as the one caught in the crossfire, left to manage the backlash while Meghan keeps control of the narrative. It's not just personal relationships either. From royal staff who quietly quit to high-profile partnerships that mysteriously dissolve to friends turn ghosts like Jessica. And now Perry, there's a growing list of people who once stood beside Meghan and are now watching from a distance.
These revelations from TMZ, this lawsuit, paints Tyler Perry in a very different light. Tyler Perry, TMZ reports, facing sexual assault claims from an actor on his long-running TV show The Oval, yet Tyler's camp calls this a scam.
Tyler Perry hasn't gone on record. He hasn't posted statements or called out Meghan or Harry by name. But in Hollywood, silence can be louder than headlines, and his silence has become deafeningly precise. While Meghan continues to ignore the growing storm, Perry's camp is quietly making moves. According to entertainment insiders, his team has started correcting the narrative behind closed doors, letting industry contacts know that this wasn't a fairy tale favor, it was business. A deal, and one that allegedly was never honored. Reports suggest Perry expected financial reimbursement for the months of private security, travel arrangements, and personal support he extended. Money that, to this day, may never have arrived. And even if it did, the respect he claims never did.
These revelations from TMZ, this lawsuit, paints Tyler Perry in a very different light. Tyler Perry, TMZ reports, facing sexual assault claims from an actor on his long-running TV show The Oval, yet Tyler's camp calls this a scam.
Sources close to him say Perry felt used, not supported, especially after Meghan painted their relationship as some kind of magical godparent bond during the Netflix documentary. He wasn't there for PR. He wasn't seeking attention. And he definitely didn't sign up to be part of a carefully controlled brand campaign. Now, those same insiders say Perry has quietly pulled away from the Sussexes, refusing to be involved in any future ventures and making it clear that his days as Meghan's inner circle fixer are over. He hasn't publicly revoked his role as Princess Lilibet's godfather, but his team has reportedly confirmed he wants no further involvement. And while that might seem subtle in a town like Hollywood, it's a statement. A very loud one. The man who once flew them across the world, housed them in a palace, and protected them at their lowest moment, now won't return a phone call. But the real sting? It's not just about the money or the silence. It's about the reputation. And Perry isn't the only one whose image is slipping away. Because for Prince Harry, this wasn't just a loss, it was a gut punch. For Meghan, Tyler Perry's silence is strategic. For Harry, it's personal. He didn't just view Perry as a wealthy benefactor, he saw him as a mentor, even a role model. Someone who stood tall when the world seemed to crumble around them. Someone who offered safety when even their own family wouldn't. But now that safety net is gone, and Harry's left exposed again. Sources close to the Sussexes say Harry is deeply embarrassed by the quiet collapse of their relationship with Perry. He trusted him, admired him, and now, not only has Perry pulled away, but their private financial arrangement is being whispered about in boardrooms and press circles. Unpaid debts, quiet expectations, financial stress, things Harry never wanted made public, are now becoming part of the narrative. And in Hollywood, a town that thrives on image, perception is everything. The man once hailed as the grounded, relatable half of the royal rebel duo is now seen by many as lost in Meghan's orbit. Every broken alliance chips away at his credibility. Every friend that walks away paints the same picture. A couple who burns bridges, even with the people who once saved them. It's not just about money anymore. It's about trust. And as Perry retreats and other allies grow silent, Harry finds himself caught in a familiar cycle, loyal, exposed, and left to clean up the aftermath of yet another unraveling friendship. But if Harry thought this was just one misstep, the next wave would hit even harder. Because outside their shrinking circle, Hollywood itself is starting to turn. At first, partnering with Meghan Markle was a Hollywood dream. A royal face with a modern voice, a woman who spoke about feminism, identity, trauma, all wrapped in designer gowns and a Netflix deal. But now, studios aren't so sure. After the Archetypes podcast underperformed and Spotify pulled out, murmurs of dissatisfaction started circulating. Then came the Netflix delays, then the headlines, then the Perry drama. And now, producers and streaming giants are beginning to do what Perry already did. Back away. Why? Because Meghan's name no longer guarantees safe press. In fact, insiders say she's become what executives fear most: unpredictable. One wrong quote, one ghosted friend, one leaked text, and suddenly your entire project is tied to controversy. Or, worse, ignored. Behind closed doors, decision-makers are labeling the Sussex brand as high drama, low delivery, risky investments, soft ratings, too much heat for too little return. And Meghan isn't just losing opportunities. She's losing allies in the industry who once believed in her star power. The same Hollywood elite that once rolled out red carpets are now closing doors. And when the spotlight starts to dim in this town, it's almost impossible to get it back. But this wasn't just about business. It was personal. Because what started as a glamorous escape from royalty, Meghan and Harry once stood side by side with billionaires, power brokers, activists, and streaming moguls. Now, their inner circle is cracking. One ghosted friend at a time, one betrayal at a time. Jessica Mulroney, Oprah, Spotify, Netflix, and now Tyler Perry. Each one began with loyalty. Each one ended in silence. And the silence is speaking louder than ever. Insiders whisper that even Perry's production company has informally blacklisted the Sussexes, vowing to never work with them again. Not out of anger, but out of exhaustion. It's not personal. One executive reportedly said, "It's just chaos. Constant chaos." Meghan's carefully curated brand, polished, powerful progressive is unraveling from the inside out. And with every fractured alliance, that unraveling gets harder to hide. But the most damaging part of all? It's not the lawsuits. It's not the drama. It's the growing belief among former allies that Meghan Markle only stays loyal when it benefits her, and walks away when things get complicated. Now, even her silence feels like strategy, and in Hollywood, when enough people walk away, it becomes the story. Once dubbed the People's Duchess, Meghan Markle is now more often referred to in boardrooms as the Duchess of Controversy. The red carpets are still there, but the hands offering support? Fewer than ever. And in a town built on relationships, reputation is everything. As the Sussexes retreat further into their shrinking circle, the world is watching, not with curiosity, but with caution, because now, even the people who once believed in Meghan are beginning to wonder, was it ever real? If you're tired of polished PR stories and want the truth behind the headlines, subscribe now and tap the bell. We've got more behind-the-scenes exposés coming, and trust me, this saga isn't even close to over. Because in the world of Meghan and Harry, the drama is never done. Stay tuned. The next chapter might just be their biggest downfall yet.